Welcome to the RJI Futures Lab, where we help you make your organization more innovative. I'm Ruben Stern. This week, what newsrooms might learn from startups and another system for micropayments. Liz Gaines spent about a decade covering Silicon Valley and has witnessed firsthand how newsrooms might learn from the culture of tech startups. We sat down with her to get some ideas.
In startups, things change fast and it's easy to get left behind. It's important to be nimble, to quickly try new things, and to move on if they don't work.
I really like seeing how fast things can change in terms of what can be successful. There's new platforms that emerge all the time. I think I saw that BuzzFeed is now getting 20% of its traffic from Snapchat. So that just speaks to them being flexible about the expectations for going to some new environment where they think there could be an audience, adapting their content, trying things. If you're not growing, you're failing. If you're not changing and adapting and finding some success and something you can show for your work, then there's no reason for you to exist at a startup.
Job duties and staffing are more fluid than many newsrooms are used to.
There's a sense that your job might shift at any time, and that's not a bad thing. That you are trying to figure out how to contribute to what you know, what you can learn, to what the organization needs at that time, and that's not going to stay constant. Say you're the product manager for an app with 100 users. That is completely different than being the product manager for an app with 1 billion users. And maybe maybe you need to adapt to that, or maybe someone else is a better fit for that time and place. Within a startup, everything is going to be changing all the time if it works, right? That's not a bad thing. So on day one, you have maybe 2 people. On day 100, you have maybe 5 people, and the roles are going to be completely different. So there's no consistency.
People who work at startups are willing to adapt their lifestyles because they're so passionate about their visions.
The reason I like writing about technology is because people believe that they're going to change the world and try to, and they create things, and then sometimes they end up having actually a substantial impact. The people running startups don't care as much about stability. So they're taking a risk in their personal lives. They're whatever they rely on to support themselves, their family, they are giving that up for some time in hopes that they will be with something that is zooming off like a rocket ship, and they get on at the beginning, and when they get off, they're in a different stratosphere.
Startups are often driven by analytics, but Gaines says sometimes that goes too far.
Technology is a medium that is so much a part of our life, and it's being created by people who might not have a variety of perspectives. I think that it's really counterproductive for reporters to be too in touch with the analytics. I think you can see everyone kind of conforming to whatever the trend of the day is in headlines, and then all the news starts looking the same. I think as a reporter, if you're looking at where are people coming in from and what search terms are they looking at, and then writing about that, you're kind of setting yourself up to be replaced by a robot.
Overall, Gaines says thinking like a startup means reacting quickly and not being afraid to experiment. For the Futures Lab, this is Katie Mersman.
Gaines is currently doing a JSK fellowship at Stanford, where she's looking for ways to better connect news with geographic location. A startup called Fiddle hopes to add another option for micropayments. The system would let readers buy, organize, and share individual articles from multiple news sites. The Futures Lab's Berkeley Lovelace explains the idea.
Sam Litvin says 1/3 of journalists have lost their job or left the field since 2008. He says it's partly due to newspapers' 3 sources of revenue.
So it was classifieds, subscribers, and advertisers.
Fiddle is a news management service that lets storytellers set a price for their content.
Flipboard meets TinyPass meets Pocket meets all these different pieces are into one. Someone can easily add a price to their site. When a user comes to that site and clicks on it, they sign in with Facebook or Gmail, and then it takes away the credit from their account.
Once users purchase an article, they can share it.
So they can go back to their article anytime, they can share it, and then they have ability to click on that article and go back to that article on the news a content provider's site.
Publishers can track sales, retention, and customer habits.
We really want to continue to create a better connection between the publisher and the reader, and that we think will push the revenues more because it will make that information much more valuable for the reader, which means they'll pay for that information, which means the service will go up and journalists will get their jobs.
Fiddle's team plans to create more tools for readers to receive more context for their stories. They also want to provide publishers with tools to better connect with readers. For the Futures Lab, this is Berkeley Lovelace.
Fiddle is similar to another micropayment system called Blendle. You'll find more information about that along with this video. And that's it for this report from the RJI Futures Lab. I'm Ruben Stern. We'll see you in the future.